boy, and he'll fight his way here. I know, Keith. The doctor pleaded with him to accept the aid of a sedative and even made a show of force, but the old man grew so frantic with resistance that he gave over. And after a time, when Mrs. Late had given up watching for Keith, there came upon his agonized mien a look almost of comfort. He smiled and murmured, "Now I know a little of what Patty suffered. I thought I knew before, but nobody can imagine pain or remember it. It's a hideous thing to hurt. But I ought to be able to stand it for a night when that little girl bore far worse for years." All the long evening, all the long night he babbled her name, and if at intervals he sobbed and the tears slid down his much-channeled features, it was for memory of the bitterness of her woe, and his belated understanding of it. He would not take any quieting drug or let the needle be set against his skin, but he called for stimulants to lash his crippled heart to its task, putting the doctor on his honor not to cheat him. The physician fell asleep at midnight and woke shuddering in the chill of dawn, ashamed to think that every moment of his hours of oblivion had been a torment to his client. Soon after the dawn, Keith came, whipping a horse through the road, soggy with the night-long rain. He ran across the ruined porch into the wreck of the house, and his father answered his searching call with a note of triumph. "That's my boy. I knew he'd come. I knew." Dr. Brockholst, who had never seen Keith, somehow expected a youth to dash into the room. He was surprised to find that the lad was a grizzled giant of 50. But Colonel Roberts ran to the couch side and dropped to his knees, with a childish, "Daddy." The shock of the contact brought a shriek from the old man's jolted bones, but he wrung a laugh from it. Then he asked the doctor to leave him alone with his son. Making sure that they were not spied upon, he whispered in a pell-mell of hurry, "I had to see you, Kythie, to get one more promise from you before I go. The city, that infernal New York, will be demanding our farm for the bottom of one of its lakes before long. But don't let 'em have it. Fight 'em to the last ditch. And whatever you do, don't let 'em open the cellar walls. There may be nothing there to see by now, but you remember about Judd Lasher. He's there still, and after all these years I can't bear the thought of anybody finding out what we kept in violet so long, especially after I'm gone and can't fight back. Promise me you won't let 'em tear down the house and the walls. I've seen 'em clear away so many old homes and stone fences and roads for other lakes. I can't abide the thought of them prying into our walls. And I want to lie by your mother's side out there in the yard. You'll put me there. And once I'm there, they'll never dare disturb me. You can put up a sign like Shakespeare's, 'Good friend, for Jesus' sake, forbear,' or something like that. Promise." "I promise," said Keith. And his father, failing away beneath his eyes like Hamlet's father's spirit, spoke already from underground. "Swear." "I swear." "Swear." "I swear it, father." There was a faint moan, almost of luxury, the luxury of one who sinks out of all pain and all anxiety into that perfect sleep which Socrates pronounced the richest pleasure even of the Persian kings. Keith thought he saw his father smile, thought he read upon his lips the playful pet name he had seen and heard there, when as a child he saw his father praising his mother tenderly, "Patty. Pattykins. Pretty, pretty Pattykins." Then the lips ceased to beat together, and parted in the final yawn that ends the boredom of this life. Chapter LV. There was something incomplete and irreparable for Emmy in the fact that she reached New York too late to see her father before he joined her mother in oblivion. The new New York was beyond her comprehension. She was appalled by the aged look of all her old friends whom she remembered as young friends. She and her mirror had kept such steady company that she could not see the slow changes in her own features. She saw them all at once in the looking-glass of her old companions. They made her unhappy, and she went up to Tulip Tree Farm to live, saying that it was more wholesome for her children. Keith's wife died and his children grew away from him, and he felt tired, old, of an evening mood. So he also settled down at Tulip Tree Farm, taking care that the restorations after the storm should renew the old lines of the house without disturbing its cellar walls. He had had a large part in the engineering of the large 6-mile siphon that ran 420 feet under the oozy bed of the Harlem. He watched the water from the new Croton Aqueduct roll into Lake Monahata in Central Park, and felt that the Croton field was now drained. All eyes turned further north, but the remaining cis-Hudsonian streams belonged to the state of Connecticut, whose sovereign rights were not at the mercy of Albany. The Catskill Mountains were the nearest source in the trans-Hudsonian territory, and the Ramapo Company bought up all the rights. A tempest of scandal broke out, and Governor Roosevelt and Mayors Low and McClellan quashed the company and set on foot the project of the Ashokan Reservoir, rivaling the magnitude of the canal cut through the Isthmus of Panama. A strip of land 200 feet wide and 92 miles long must be secured by condemnation and purchase, from Esopus Creek to New York across thousands of farms, and a siphon must be driven 1,000 feet under the Hudson River between Storm King and Breakneck. The work involved the submersion or removal of 64 miles of highways, and 11 miles of railroad, 9 villages, and 32 cemeteries of nearly 3,000 graves, some of them more than 2 centuries old. And Tulip Tree Farm with its graves was only one of this multitude. Keith and Emmy fought the city in vain. Nothing they could do could halt the invading army of 1,500 workmen that established itself at Valhalla and began to dam the Bronx above White Plains. The dam was of cyclopean concrete, 1,800 feet across, and it was made to hold 38 billion gallons of water, which was only a 50-day supply for New York. The new lake with its 40 miles of shoreline would obliterate no villages and few burial places. But one of these few was the Roberts plot, and Keith trembled to think that when the house came down and the cellar walls were removed piecemeal, the bones of Judd Lasher would be disclosed. He dared not speak even to Emmy of the secret in the walls. He could only stand aside and mourn the felling of the great tree steeples. He and Emmy watched the wrecking crew demolishing the house, throwing the chimneys down, tearing off the roof and opening the attic to the sun. Then the ceiling went and the floors of the bedrooms where their bare feet had toddled. At last the house was gone, all but the main floor, and from that stairways went up to nowhere. After the wrecking crew had left off work for the day, Keith and Emmy wandered one evening through the place where the house once was, and poked about the debris on the library floor. They noted the hearthstone of white marble. They had seen to the removal of the graves before the tulip trees came down. The family had been transported to the increasing city of the dead at Kensico, but they were still debating what monument to rear. One little coffin was found there which Keith could not account for. That was Emmy's secret, and she kept it, though it ached in her old heart, remembering the wild romance of her youth. A blush slipped through her wrinkles, and the shame was almost pleasant at this distance. Now that she and Keith stared at the white marble hearthstone, they were both inspired by a single thought. "Let's use that for a headstone in the family lot in Kensico," Emmy said, and Keith agreed. They were proud of the felicity of their inspiration, and hiring laborers, stole the slab that very night and carried it over to the graveyard, and saw to its establishing. And they never knew the final irony of its presence there above the parallel bodies of David and Patty Roberts. It linked Harry Calendar's destiny forever with theirs. But they never made a protest. It was the Parthian shot of fate, the perfection of the contemptible contemptuousness with which life regards its victims. Unwitting of this dismal joke upon his father, and remembering only the secret of which he was trustee, Keith loitered about to see the cellar walls demolished and the dead Judd Lasher brought to light. He kept wondering what to say when the crisis was reached. He could not find a lie to utter. But from somewhere the edict came that the cellar walls should not be taken away, and the workmen abandoned them. And now the house was gone as if it had been burned in some night of fire. But it had served its time. It had lived the short life of wooden homes. Stone houses may outlast sonnets and coins and chronicles, but houses of wood and of flesh perish soon. They have lived as stone never lived. Through the wood the white blood of sap once coursed, and trees, like hearts, suffer too well for time to endure. They must go back to the dust whence new trees and new hearts are made. It was time for the old house to vanish. Like a human heart, it had held within its walls sorrow and honor, passion and crime. It was time for it to cease to beat, cease to be. It went out with an honorable name. It went into oblivion with no history, and the old word of Tacitus about nations was true of houses, too. Happy is the house that has no history. But all houses, and all nations, have histories if one only knew. Keith was almost sorry that the cellar walls were left. He had braced himself against the shock of revelation, and when it did not come, he suffered a collapse of strength. But he could not share this disappointment with anyone. It must remain forever a Robert's secret to die with him. When at last the dam was piled across the valley, and the little brooks encountered it, they backed up and filled their own beds to overflowing. They swelled till they covered the levels where the bridges had been. Stealthily they erased the roads that dipped into them now and ran under water till they climbed out again on the opposite slope. The brooks united into a pond, and the pond widened and lengthened. It began to climb the hills and wind about the promontories. It aspired toward the highway cut out of the rock along the top of the hills, and toward the lengthy tall piered concrete bridge with the ornaments of green bronze. Keith and Emmy watched the gradual drowning of the farm and took their last walks about it, hand in hand, until long arms of water cut off their approach even to the tarn of mystery, which was now a bald hillock, an island height, a tiny Ararat. Up and up the water climbed and came at last to the cellar walls, lipping them inquiringly. They had the isolated dignity of ruins on the Nile. They stood up in a little sea of waters, and if anyone were to rip the strongbox of their secret open now, he must take a boat to reach it. One evening Keith and Emmy went out to bid the home a last goodbye. They rode along the highway in a motor car and left it with its driver while they clambered down to sit upon the hillside and pay the final rites of observation. Over their heads the automobiles went by in a stream, flashing back the sunset that turned the sheet of waters into blood. As the sunset grew wan and colorless, the motor lamps came out like stars and the searchlights fenced as with swords. It grew chill, but the old brother and sister sat fascinated by the disappearance of all their memories under the climbing waters. They were old and yet they felt themselves children, for they stared across the misty years between to the clear opposite heights of youth. Their hands unbidden moved to each other and clasped fingers. They were the last of their generation, though other generations out of their loins were gathering their own secrets of sins and griefs to keep from their own posterities. At length by imperceptible deepenings the cellar walls were all engulfed. The lake was an unbroken mirror to the placid sky. The house and farm of Tulip Tree had been. They were no more. But still the ancient children lingered, numb with cold and loneliness and yet at peace, wonderfully at peace. Above their heads a motor had stopped in the thick hush of the gloaming. Two lovers, thinking themselves alone in their world, were whispering and scuffling in amorous play. There was a girl's voice that gasped, "Don't," and a man's voice that grumbled, "All right for you." Evidently the world would never lack for lovers. Lovers were still coquetting and sulking and making a war of opportunity. The girl, vexed by her gallant's too easy discouragement, spoke stupidly, "I love sunsets, don't you?" "Uh-huh. The lake's pretty, don't you think?" "Pretty big for its age." "It's just a new pond, you know, to add to New York's collection. They're looking for more water every day. I was reading that they're planning to tap the Adirondacks next, as soon as the Catskills are used up. They're turning a river around up there now. It was flowing west and they're going to dig under a mountain through an 18-mile tunnel and steal the river, and make it run east and south to New York. This titanic work did not interest the girl at all. She tried to fetch the youth around to human themes. Somebody was telling me there used to be farms and homes down under where the water is now. You can hardly believe it. Yeah, people used to live down there, they say. I wonder what they were like. Nice old-fashioned souls, I suppose, good and simple and innocent, and not wicked in our modern ways. I suppose not. But they didn't get much out of life, I guess. They couldn't have known what love was. They couldn't have seen anybody down there as pretty as you are. Don't. Somebody might see you. It's getting so dark you must drive me home. If Mama knew I had been out here alone with you. Still there was stealth in the world, joy to be stolen and turned into guilt, secrets to be cherished. Keith helped Emmy to her feet and they struggled toward the road out of the night up into the night. In the sky to the south the sleepless torches of far-off New York were pallidly suspected. The waters below were black to their depths, save where the stars slept or twinkled as a ripple shook their reflection, or a fish, exploring its new sky, broke through into another world. The End. Harper Fiction. The Vehement Flame by Margaret Deland. Can a man marry a woman 20 years his senior and be happy and remain true to the wife of his choice? This and the biblical quotation from the Song of Solomon, love is strong as death, jealousy is cruel as the grave, the coals thereof are coals of fire, which hath a most vehement flame, is the basis of Mrs. Deland's latest novel. This book, by its sheer bigness of theme, will rank above even The Iron Woman and The Awakening of Helena Richie. The Vertical City by Fannie Hurst. New York. The Vertical City. Fannie Hurst has daringly inquired into the lives of people who live dangerously in this greatest of all monolithic cities, and pictured them for us in 6 whirlwind sketches. You will never again think of this author's shorter work as merely short stories, for they are more than that. They are vivid impressions of life. Conflict by Clarence Buddington Kelland. Mystery, love, and strong personalities are brought together in this latest Kelland story. It tells how a girl made weak and effete by the society of the city regained her womanhood when she was thrown among those who still believe in the power of their fists. How a rich, hypocritical, old lumberman and guardian of his wealthy society-loving niece tried to save her soul by breaking her spirit. The Pathless Trail by Arthur O'Friel. Arthur O'Friel comes forward with a story of the wildest kind of adventure in the only place in America where there are still cannibals. It is the strange story of a man who thought he had killed another and to escape punishment by death fled to Peru. Adventures more exciting than Tarzan's in a land more weird and wonderful. Harper and Brothers, Franklin Square, New York. Humor and drama by distinguished authors. The Man from Home by Booth Tarkington and Harry Leon Wilson. The scene takes place in Italy, and the American humor shows up brilliantly against the foreign background. Illustrated. Monavana by Maurice Maeterlinck. One of the Belgian poet's most powerful dramas. The scenes are laid at Pisa, Italy, at the end of the 15th century. Portrait. L'Aiglon by Edmond Rostand. This, the only English edition published of the story of the great Napoleon's unfortunate son, was translated by Lewis N. Parker. It is illustrated with pictures of Miss Maud Adams in the character of the Duke of Reichstadt. Illustrated. Parting Friends by William Dean Howells. A farcical scene on an outgoing steamer, when two sweethearts can find neither time nor place for tender farewells. Readers who like brilliant conversation, unrestrained fun, and amusing character portrayal will find in these farces a rich treat. Illustrated. The Mousetrap by William Dean Howells. This volume contains in compact form 4 of Howells's most popular farces, which have been both read and acted with complete enjoyment and success. The farces in this volume are, The Garroters, 5 o'clock tea, The Mousetrap, A Likely Story. Illustrated. Harper and Brothers, Franklin Square, New York. Transcriber's notes: PG-16 changed, The Maples and Wild Rhododendrons to, The Maples and Wild Rhododendrons. PG-41 changed, He had taken a whole tumblerful to, He had taken a whole tumblerful. PG-96 changed, Bury you in the potter's field to, Bury you in the potter's field. PG-121 changed, A strange pilgrimage through the to, A strange pilgrimage through the. PG-164 changed, The boy had evidently inherited to, The boy had evidently inherited. PG-285 changed, Somehow in all these years to, Somehow in all these years. End of the Project Gutenberg ebook. Within these walls, updated editions will replace the previous one. The old editions will be renamed. Creating the works from print editions not protected by U.S. copyright law means that no one owns a United States copyright in these works, so the Foundation, and you, can copy and distribute it in the United States without permission and without paying copyright royalties. Special rules, set forth in the General Terms of Use part of this license, apply to copying and distributing Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark concept and trademark. Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark, and may not be used if you charge for an ebook, except by following the terms of the trademark license, including paying royalties for use of the Project Gutenberg trademark. If you do not charge anything for copies of this ebook, complying with the trademark license is very easy. You may use this ebook for nearly any purpose, such as creation of derivative works, reports, performances, and research. Project Gutenberg ebooks may be modified and printed and given away. You may do practically anything in the United States with ebooks not protected by U.S. copyright law. Redistribution is subject to the trademark license, especially commercial redistribution. Start, full license. The full Project Gutenberg license. Please read this before you distribute or use this work to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark mission of promoting the free distribution of electronic works, by using or distributing this work, or any other work associated in any way with the phrase Project Gutenberg. You agree to comply with all the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark license available with this file or online at www.gutenberg.org/license. Section 1. General Terms of Use and Redistributing Project Gutenberg Trademark Electronic Works. 1.a. By reading or using any part of this Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work, you indicate that you have read, understand, agree to and accept all the terms of this license and intellectual property, trademark/copyright, agreement. If you do not agree to abide by all the terms of this agreement, you must cease using and return or destroy all copies of Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works in your possession. If you paid a fee for obtaining a copy of or access to a Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work and you do not agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement, you may obtain a refund from the person or entity to whom you paid the fee as set forth in paragraph 1.e.8. 1.b. Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark. It may only be used on or associated in any way with an electronic work by people who agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement. There are a few things that you can do with most Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works even without complying with the full terms of this agreement. See paragraph 1.c below. There are a lot of things you can do with Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works if you follow the terms of this agreement and help preserve free future access to Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works. See paragraph 1.e below. 1.c. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, The Foundation or PGLOF, owns a compilation copyright in the collection of Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works. Nearly all the individual works in the collection are in the public domain in the United States. If an individual work is unprotected by copyright law in the United States and you are located in the United States, we do not claim a right to prevent you from copying, distributing, performing, displaying, or creating derivative works based on the work as long as all references to Project Gutenberg are removed. Of course, we hope that you will support the Project Gutenberg trademark mission of promoting free access to electronic works by freely sharing Project Gutenberg trademark works in compliance with the terms of this agreement for keeping the Project Gutenberg trademark name associated with the work. You can easily comply with the terms of this agreement by keeping this work in the same format with its attached full Project Gutenberg trademark license when you share it without charge with others. 1.d. The copyright laws of the place where you are located also govern what you can do with this work. Copyright laws in most countries are in a constant state of change. If you are outside the United States, check the laws of your country in addition to the terms of this agreement before downloading, copying, displaying, performing, distributing or creating derivative works based on this work or any other Project Gutenberg trademark work. The Foundation makes no representations concerning the copyright status of any work in any country other than the United States. 1.e Unless you have removed all references to Project Gutenberg, 1.e.1. The following sentence, with active links to, or other immediate access to, the full Project Gutenberg trademark license must appear prominently whenever any copy of a Project Gutenberg trademark work, any work on which the phrase Project Gutenberg appears, or with which the phrase Project Gutenberg is associated, is accessed, displayed, performed, viewed, copied or distributed. This ebook is for the use of anyone anywhere in the United States and most other parts of the world at no cost and with almost no restrictions whatsoever. You may copy it, give it away or reuse it under the terms of the Project Gutenberg license included with this ebook or online at www.gutenberg.org. If you are not located in the United States, you will have to check the laws of the country where you are located before using this ebook. 1.e.2. If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work is derived from texts not protected by U.S. copyright law, does not contain a notice indicating that it is posted with permission of the copyright holder, the work can be copied and distributed to anyone in the United States without paying any fees or charges. If you are redistributing or providing access to a work with the phrase Project Gutenberg associated with or appearing on the work, you must comply either with the requirements of paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 or obtain permission for the use of the work and the Project Gutenberg trademark as set forth in paragraphs 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.3. If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work is posted with the permission of the copyright holder, your use and distribution must comply with both paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 and any additional terms imposed by the copyright holder. Additional terms will be linked to the Project Gutenberg trademark license for all works posted with the permission of the copyright holder found at the beginning of this work. 1.e.4. Do not unlink or detach or remove the full Project Gutenberg trademark license terms from this work, or any files containing a part of this work or any other work associated with Project Gutenberg trademark. 1.e.5. Do not copy, display, perform, distribute or redistribute this electronic work, or any part of this electronic work, without prominently displaying the sentence set forth in paragraph 1.e.1 with active links or immediate access to the full terms of the Project Gutenberg trademark license. 1.e.6. You may convert to and distribute this work in any binary, compressed, marked up, non-proprietary or proprietary form, including any word processing or hypertext form. However, if you provide access to or distribute copies of a Project Gutenberg trademark work in a format other than plain vanilla ASCII or other format used in the official version posted on the official Project Gutenberg trademark website, www.gutenberg.org, you must, at no additional cost, fee, or expense to the user, provide a copy, a means of exporting a copy, or a means of obtaining a copy upon request, of the work in its original plain vanilla ASCII or other form. Any alternate format must include the full Project Gutenberg trademark license as specified in paragraph 1.e.1. 1.e.7. Do not charge a fee for access to, viewing, displaying, performing, copying or distributing any Project Gutenberg trademark works unless you comply with paragraph 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.8. You may charge a reasonable fee for copies of or providing access to or distributing Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works provided that, you pay a royalty fee of 20% of the gross profits you derive from the use of Project Gutenberg trademark works calculated using the method you already use to calculate your applicable taxes. The fee is owed to the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark, but he has agreed to donate royalties under this paragraph to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Royalty payments must be paid within 60 days following each date on which you prepare, or are legally required to prepare, your periodic tax returns. Royalty payments should be clearly marked as such and sent to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation at the address specified in Section 4, Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. You provide a full refund of any money paid by a user who notifies you in writing, or by email, within 30 days of receipt that he does not agree to the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark license. You must require such a user to return or destroy all copies of the works possessed in a physical medium and discontinue all use of and all access to other copies of Project Gutenberg trademark works. You provide, in accordance with paragraph 1.f.3, a full refund of any money paid for a work or a replacement copy, if a defect in the electronic work is discovered and reported to you within 90 days of receipt of the work. You comply with all other terms of this agreement for free distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark works. 1.e.9. If you wish to charge a fee or distribute a Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work or group of works on different terms than are set forth in this agreement, you must obtain permission in writing from the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the manager of the Project Gutenberg trademark. Contact the Foundation as set forth in Section 3 below. 1.f.1.f.1. Project Gutenberg volunteers and employees expend considerable effort to identify, do copyright research on, transcribe and proofread works not protected by U.S. copyright law in creating the Project Gutenberg trademark collection. Despite these efforts, Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works, and the medium on which they may be stored, may contain defects, such as, but not limited to, incomplete, inaccurate or corrupt data, transcription errors, a copyright or other intellectual property infringement, a defective or damaged disk or other medium, a computer virus, or computer codes that damage or cannot be read by your equipment. 1.f.2. Limited warranty, disclaimer of damages, except for the right of replacement or refund described in paragraph 1.f.3. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark, and any other party distributing a Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work under this agreement, disclaim all liability to you for damages, costs, and expenses, including legal fees. You agree that you have no remedies for negligence, strict liability, breach of warranty or breach of contract except those provided in paragraph 1.f.3. You agree that the foundation, the trademark owner, and any distributor under this agreement will not be liable to you for actual, direct, indirect, consequential, punitive, or incidental damages even if you give notice of the possibility of such damage. 1.f.3. Limited right of replacement or refund. If you discover a defect in this electronic work within 90 days of receiving it, you can receive a refund of the money, if any, you paid for it by sending a written explanation to the person you received the work from. If you received the work on a physical medium, you must return the medium with your written explanation. The person or entity that provided you with the defective work may elect to provide a replacement copy in lieu of a refund. If you received the work electronically, the person or entity providing it to you may choose to give you a second opportunity to receive the work electronically in lieu of a refund. If the second copy is also defective, you may demand a refund in writing without further opportunities to fix the problem. 1.f.4. Except for the limited right of replacement or refund set forth in paragraph 1.f.3, this work is provided to you as is, with no other warranties of any kind, express or implied, including but not limited to warranties of merchantability or fitness for any purpose. 1.f.5. Some states do not allow disclaimers of certain implied warranties or the exclusion or limitation of certain types of damages. If any disclaimer or limitation set forth in this agreement violates the law of the state applicable to this agreement, the agreement shall be interpreted to make the maximum disclaimer or limitation permitted by the applicable state law. The invalidity or unenforceability of any provision of this agreement shall not void the remaining provisions. 1.f.6. Indemnity. You agree to indemnify and hold the foundation, the trademark owner, any agent or employee of the foundation, anyone providing copies of Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works in accordance with this agreement, and any volunteers associated with the production, promotion, and distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works, harmless from all liability, costs, and expenses, including legal fees, that arise directly or indirectly from any of the following which you do or cause to occur. A. Distribution of this or any Project Gutenberg trademark work. B. Alteration, modification, or additions or deletions to any Project Gutenberg trademark work, and C. Any defect you cause. Section 2. Information about the mission of Project Gutenberg trademark. Project Gutenberg trademark is synonymous with the free distribution of electronic works in formats readable by the widest variety of computers including obsolete, old, middle-aged, and new computers. It exists because of the efforts of hundreds of volunteers and donations from people in all walks of life. Volunteers and financial support to provide volunteers with the assistance they need are critical to reaching Project Gutenberg trademark's goals and ensuring that the Project Gutenberg trademark collection will remain freely available for generations to come. In 2001, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation was created to provide a secure and permanent future for Project Gutenberg trademark and future generations. To learn more about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation and how your efforts and donations can help, see sections 3 and 4 and the Foundation information page at www.gutenberg.org. Section 3. Information about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation is a non-profit 501(c)(3) educational corporation organized under the laws of the state of Mississippi and granted tax-exempt status by the Internal Revenue Service. The Foundation's IN or federal tax identification number is 64-6221541. Contributions to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation are tax-deductible to the full extent permitted by U.S. federal laws and your state's laws. The Foundation's business office is located at 809 North 1500 West, Salt Lake City, Utah 841-16801-596-1887. Email contact links and up-to-date contact information can be found at the Foundation's website and official page at www.gutenberg.org/contact section 4. Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Project Gutenberg trademark depends upon and cannot survive without widespread public support and donations to carry out its mission of increasing the number of public domain and licensed works that can be freely distributed in machine-readable form accessible by the widest array of equipment including outdated equipment. Many small donations, $1 to $5,000, are particularly important to maintaining tax-exempt status with the IRS. The Foundation is committed to complying with the laws regulating charities and charitable donations in all 50 states of the United States. Compliance requirements are not uniform and it takes a considerable effort, much paperwork, and many fees to meet and keep up with these requirements. We do not solicit donations in locations where we have not received written confirmation of compliance. To send donations or determine the status of compliance for any particular state, visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. While we cannot and do not solicit contributions from states where we have not met the solicitation requirements, we know of no prohibition against accepting unsolicited donations from donors in such states who approach us with offers to donate. International donations are gratefully accepted, but we cannot make any statements concerning tax treatment of donations received from outside the United States. U.S. laws alone swamp our small staff. Please check the Project Gutenberg web pages for current donation methods and addresses. Donations are accepted in a number of other ways including checks, online payments, and credit card donations. To donate, please visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. Section 5. General information about Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works. Professor Michael S. Hart was the originator of the Project Gutenberg trademark concept of a library of electronic works that could be freely shared with anyone. For 40 years, he produced and distributed Project Gutenberg trademark ebooks with only a loose network of volunteer support. Project Gutenberg trademark ebooks are often created from several printed editions, all of which are confirmed as not protected by copyright in the U.S. unless a copyright notice is included. Thus, we do not necessarily keep ebooks in compliance with any particular paper edition. Most people start at our website, which has the main PG search facility, www.gutenberg.org. This website includes information about Project Gutenberg trademark, including how to make donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, how to help produce our new ebooks, and how to subscribe to our email newsletter to hear about new ebooks. Within these walls, illustrations: Chapter I, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4, Chapter V, Chapter 6, Chapter 7, Chapter 8, Chapter 9, Chapter X, Chapter 11, Chapter 12, Chapter 13, Chapter 14, Chapter 15, Chapter 16, Chapter 17, Chapter 18, Chapter 19, Chapter XX, Chapter XXI, Chapter XXII, Chapter XXIII, Chapter XXIV, Chapter XXV, Chapter XXVI, Chapter XXV III, Chapter XXVII, Chapter XXIX, Chapter XXX, Chapter XXXI, Chapter XXXII, Chapter XXXII, Chapter 30, Chapter XXXV, Chapter 30, Chapter XXXVII. Chapter 38, Chapter 36, Chapter XL, Chapter XLI, Chapter XLII, Chapter Slien, Chapter XLIV, Chapter XLV, Chapter XLVI, Chapter SLAI, Chapter SLAI, Chapter XLIX, Chapter L, Chapter Li, Chapter Li, Chapter LII, Chapter Liv, Chapter LV. Transcribers notes: the full Project Gutenberg license PG1, PG2, PG3, PG4, PG5, PG6, PG7, PG8, PG9, PG10 PG11 PG12 PG13 PG14 PG15 PG16 PG17 PG18 PG19 PG20 PG21 PG22 PG23 PG24 PG25 PG26 PG27 PG28 PG29 PG30 PG31 PG32 PG33 PG34 PG35 PG36 PG37 PG38 PG39 PG40 PG41 PG42 PG43 PG44 PG45 PG46 PG47 PG48 PG49 PG50 PG51 PG52 PG53 PG54 PG55 PG56 PG57 PG58 PG59 PG60 PG61 PG62 PG63 PG64 PG65 PG66 PG67 PG68 PG69 PG70 PG71 PG72 PG73 PG74 PG75 PG76 PG77 PG78 PG79 PG80 PG81 PG82 PG83 PG84 PG85 PG86 PG87 PG88 PG89 PG90 PG 91 PG 92 PG 93 PG 94 PG 95 PG 96 PG 97 PG 98 PG 99 PG 100 PG 101 PG 102 PG 103 PG 104 PG 105 PG 106 PG 107 PG 108 PG 109 PG 110 PG 111 PG 112 PG 113 PG 114 PG 115 PG 116 PG 117 PG 119 PG 120 PG 121 PG 122 PG 123 PG 124 PG 125 PG 126 PG 127 PG 128 PG 129 PG 130 PG 131 PG 132 PG 133 PG 134 PG 135 PG 136 PG 137 PG 138 PG 139 PG 140 PG 141 PG 142 PG 143 PG 144 PG 145 PG 146 PG 147 PG 148 PG 149 PG 150 PG 151 PG 152 PG 153 PG 154 PG 155 PG 156 PG 157 PG 158 PG 159 PG 160 PG 161 PG 162 PG 163 PG 164 PG 165 PG 166 PG 167 PG 168 PG 169 PG 170 PG 171 PG 172 PG 173 PG 174 PG 175 PG 176 PG 177 PG 178 PG 179 PG 180 PG 181 PG 182 PG 183 PG 184 PG 185 PG 186 PG 187 PG 188 PG 189 PG 190 PG 191 191 PG 192 PG 193 PG 194 PG 195 PG 196 PG 197 PG 198 PG 199 PG 200 PG 201 PG 202 PG 203 PG 204 PG 205 PG 206 PG 207 PG 208 PG 209 PG 210 PG 211 PG 212 PG 213 PG 214 PG 215 PG 216 PG 217 PG 218 PG 219 PG 220 PG 221 PG 222 PG 223 PG 224 PG 225 PG 226 PG 227 PG 228 PG 229 PG 230 PG 231 PG 232 PG 233 PG 234 PG 235 PG 236 PG 237 PG 238 PG 239 PG 240 PG 241 PG 242 PG 243 PG 244 PG 245 PG 246 PG 247 PG 248 PG 249 PG 250 PG 251 PG 252 PG 253 PG 254 PG 255 PG 256 PG 257 PG 258 PG 259 PG 260 PG 261 PG 262 PG 263 PG 264 PG 265 PG 266 PG 267 PG 268 PG 269 PG 270 PG 271 PG 272 PG 273 PG 274 PG 275 PG 276 PG 277 PG 278 PG 279 PG 280 PG 281 PG 282 PG 283 PG 284 PG 285 PG 286 PG 287 PG 288 PG 289 PG 290 PG 291 PG 292 PG 293 PG 294 PG 295 PG 296 PG 297 PG 298 PG 299 PG 300 PG 301 PG 302 PG 303 PG 304 PG 305 PG 306 PG 307 PG 308 PG 309 PG 310 PG 311 PG 312 PG 313 PG 314 PG 315 PG 316 PG 317 PG 318 PG 319 PG 320 PG 321 PG 322 PG 323 PG 324 PG 325 PG 326 PG 327 PG 328 PG PG 329 PG 330 PG 331 PG 332 PG 333 PG 334 PG 335 PG 336 PG 337 PG 338 PG 339 PG 340 PG 341 PG 342 PG 343 PG 344 PG 345 PG 346 PG 347 PG 348 PG 349 PG 350 PG 351 PG 352 PG 353 PG 354 PG 355 PG 356 PG 357 PG 358 PG 359 PG 360 PG 361 PG 362 PG 363